We are back on our mid-trimester anomaly scan part 4. So today we'll be starting with GI anomalies. It will be an interactive session. It's a little dry topic because we'll be dealing with skeletal abnormalities also. So be interactive and give answers. Okay, so first one is this. So these are two sagittal images. First A and the second one is B. I'll write it also. So this is A and B. So please tell me which one is abnormal and what is abnormal in that. So this is a mid-sagittal view. You can see the nose. This is the face. Okay. And body. So yes, we are getting answers. B is abnormal. So, and A is obviously normal. That is why B was abnormal. So we'll start with GI anomalies. So as rightly answered, B is showing echogenic bowel. Okay. So how do you know that echogenic bowel is echogenic? We have objective criteria to distinguish the echogenicity. Yes, the bones basically, whether it is spine or iliac bone, you compare it with the bone. So here the echo texture of the fetal bowel in this region is homogeneous and is considerably less echo-dense as compared to the adjacent bone. Whereas in the second part, here you're seeing this bowel is pretty echogenic and it's as echo-dense as the subjacent bone. So it is echogenic bowel. Why is echogenic bowel important? Because one of the etiologies of bowel being echogenic is its association with certain aneuploidies. We have multiple causes of echogenic bowel. So this is one of the important etiology of aneuploidy. It's a marker. So one of the soft markers. Now there are three grades that have been put forward. First is that the bowel is as isoechoic to the liver. In second, grade 1, it's mildly hyperechoic compared to the liver, but still less than that of bone. Grade 2 is it is moderately hyperechoic compared to the liver, or it is isoechoic to the adjacent bone. And 3, which is classical echogenic bowel, it's markedly hyperechoic as compared to the liver and obviously greater than the bone. So uh, this grade 3 is the one which we use. Okay, I hope now I'm visible. So iliac crest, as someone rightly pointed out, is the internal standard. And it can be, why is it the standard? Because you can compare the bowel and the iliac bone side by side. So it's at the same level of the bowel. Okay. So, but the comparison is with bone. So the gold standard is bone. It can be iliac bone or spine. That is not a problem. And here you are seeing this is the iliac bone and this is the bowel which is echogenic even on low gain setting. So if any suspicion of echogenic bowel arises, always have low gain settings and then compare it with the bone. Okay, coming to the second pathology, abdominal cysts. So we have multiple type of abdominal cyst. In this slide, we are talking about the cyst above the pelvis. So it can be a coledocal cyst, a mesenteric or omental cyst, hepatic cyst, and the GI duplication cysts. So now this is a question for you. So this is a section through upper abdomen. Okay. This is the left side of the baby, right? 28-week gestation. So this oblong structure is stomach. This tiny thing which is not taking color because we have put the color box over the entire, almost entire image. So this thing is not taking color. So it is likely the gallbladder. So we have a cystic lesion, this a cystic lesion in between the gallbladder and the stomach in upper abdomen. So we read four types of cysts. It might be mesenteric, or it can be omental cyst, it can be a coledocal cyst, it can also be an intrahepatic cyst. GI duplication is little difficult in this. It won't be fitting into differential because of the location. Okay. So just mentioning the cyst would also work, and referral can be done. But for our interest, we'll delve deeper into the topic. So first topic is the coledocal cyst. So here you see a cystic lesion in between gallbladder and stomach. So how do you know that this is a coledocal cyst? This cyst is basically a cystic dilatation of CBD. Coledocal cyst, you know all the types. Okay. So prenatally, how the diagnosis can be made on ultrasound? You demonstrate a cyst in the upper abdomen. Okay. In the right side of the fetus. So you don't confuse it with stomach. And there is a communication, remember. There is a communication with the bile duct and the cyst. So you turn your probe in an oblong manner and you can demonstrate communication at places. So at times you will see this communication clearly, at times you won't, but your differential would remain a coledocal cyst. It can also be a hepatic cyst if it is isolated and there's no communication upstream or downstream. Now, how do I differentiate this cyst, this particular cyst, from a bowel pathology? First, you focus on the lesion for some time. If there is no peristalsis, or the environment around the baby is not showing you any adaptive change in form of polyhydramnios, because if there is a cystic lesion, it will possibly indent and cause a pseudo obstruction like a picture, or a true obstruction leading to impaired swallowing and polyhydramnios. So if there is absence of polyhydramnios or peristalsis within that cystic lesion, you can differentiate it from a bowel pathology. So why are we so concerned that we want to pick coledocal cyst in in antenatal period itself? So the early diagnosis and removal of this cyst will prevent the development of biliary cirrhosis and resultant complications like portal hypertension, any calculi formation within the cyst, and development of a malignancy. Another case. So here you are seeing the small urinary bladder. This is a cystic lesion. And so the cyst is clearly separate from the urinary bladder. In the axial section, these are the kidneys. And the cyst is indenting and somewhat compressing the kidney. This is also an abdominal cyst. Again, our differentials hold the same. But we are slightly at a lower level now. We are not in the upper abdomen. So my differentials would be mesenteric, omental, and GI duplication cyst. Histologically, this turned out to be an omental cyst. So these are the three differentials: omental cyst, mesenteric, and the enteric duplication cysts. So how do we differentiate them? Omental cyst is classically located in the upper and mid abdomen, closer to the anterior abdominal wall, and it's usually larger than the counterpart mesenteric cyst. So here you are seeing that lesion is in opposition with the anterior abdominal wall, and it's larger. Okay. So mesenteric cysts, they can occur in the mesentery. The differential point is that they may extend into the retroperitoneum as well. Starting from duodenum to rectum, you can find them in the entire GI path. And they are further characterized based on the wall thickness of the cyst and the loculation, whether it is unilocular or multilocular. Coming to the enteric duplication cyst, I think differentiating enteric duplication cyst from these two pathologies is quite easy because of two signs. The first is that double wall sign, and similar on the same lines, we have gut signature sign because it's a duplication of the bowel. So you will